Once upon a time, there was a young man named Arjun. He was considered the best archer in his kingdom. And now the king had decided to send him to a neighboring kingdom to participate in a competition, where the best archers from all over the land were going to come together to show off their skills. The prize for winning would be immense. Not only would the winner get 100 gold coins, but he would also win the hand of the king's daughter, Princess Maya, in marriage. And lastly, the winner would get to choose any wish from the king. Any wish at all. Arjun was overjoyed when he heard about the competition. This was his chance to prove himself. Plus, he had heard that the princess was very beautiful. He packed his bow and arrow and set out on his journey to the neighboring kingdom. As soon as he arrived, he went straight to the palace and introduced himself to the king. The king received him with honor and gave him a tour of the kingdom. Arjun couldn't help but notice how beautiful everything was. The palaces were made of white marble. There were beautiful gardens everywhere, and the king's daughter, Princess Maya, was indeed very beautiful. The competition was held the next day. All the best archers had gathered, and the atmosphere was filled with excitement. After a while, it was Arjun's turn to shoot. He walked up to the target and drew his bow. As he did, his eyes met those of the princess. She was watching him intently, and Arjun felt a sudden surge of confidence. He released his arrow, and it hit the bullseye. A loud cheer echoed through the stadium, and Arjun couldn't help but smile. He had done it. He had won the competition. He approached the king and said, "I have won the competition, but I don't want the 100 gold coins or the princess's hand in marriage. My only wish is to marry Princess Maya." The king was taken aback by Arjun's request. He had expected him to ask for something for himself, like more power or wealth, but instead he wanted his daughter. However, the king loved his daughter very much and didn't want her to marry someone he didn't know well. He refused Arjun's request and told him to go back to his kingdom. Arjun was disappointed, but he respected the king's decision and left. As he walked away, he noticed the princess standing by the window. She waved at him, and he knew she felt the same way about him. But what could he do? He had lost the competition. On his way home, Arjun met an old sage. The sage noticed that Arjun was sad and asked him what was wrong. Arjun poured his heart out to the sage, telling him everything that had happened. The sage listened patiently and then said, "Don't worry, Arjun. I know how to help you." The sage took Arjun to a nearby forest and told him to live there for 12 years. During this time, the sage said, "You must not speak a single word to anyone. You must live among the trees and animals and learn the secrets of nature." Arjun was confused, but he trusted the sage, so he agreed. He spent the first few years living in a cave, eating berries and nuts and sleeping on the ground. He befriended some animals, and they would often bring him food and water. Arjun was grateful for their friendship, but he missed human contact. He started talking to the trees and flowers, and they became his only company. One day, after spending many years in the forest, Arjun couldn't take it anymore. He wanted to talk to someone, anyone. He came across a young woman gathering flowers and shyly asked her, "Can I have one of those flowers?" The woman was startled by the sudden appearance of a man, and she screamed. When she realized it was just Arjun, she calmed down and gave him the flower. They started talking, and Arjun learned that her name was Leela. Over the next few months, Arjun and Leela became good friends. They would meet every day in the forest and talk for hours. Arjun told her about his life in the kingdom, and Leela told him about her dreams and hopes. Arjun was happy to have found a friend, but he still couldn't reveal his identity. He didn't want to break his vow. One day, while they were walking in the forest, Arjun and Leela came across a lake. The lake was surrounded by tall trees, and the water was crystal clear. As they stood by the lake, Arjun couldn't help but admire its beauty. He turned to Leela and said, "I wish I could paint this scene. It's so beautiful." Leela smiled and said, "You don't need paint to capture its beauty. Just close your eyes and imagine it. I'm sure you'll remember it forever." Arjun closed his eyes and tried to imagine the scene, but he couldn't. He was so frustrated that he threw his head back in anger and accidentally revealed his true form. When Leela saw Arjun's true form, she was shocked. She couldn't believe that he was the famous archer from the neighboring kingdom. Arjun was scared that he had broken his vow, but Leela surprised him. She wasn't angry. Instead, she was curious to hear more about his life in the kingdom. Arjun told her everything. And when he was finished, Leela said, "I think it's time for you to return to the kingdom." "Arjun, you've spent enough time in the forest. Now," Arjun was confused. He thought Leela would be mad at him for breaking his vow, but she seemed to understand. Together, they returned to the kingdom. Leela explained to the king everything that had happened, and the king was impressed by Arjun's determination and patience. He apologized for not believing in Arjun and asked for his forgiveness. He then agreed to let Arjun marry Princess Maya. Arjun and Maya's wedding was a grand affair. The entire kingdom celebrated for days. People came from far and wide to witness the union of the two lovers. Arjun and Maya were overjoyed. They were finally going to be together. As the years passed, Arjun and Maya's love grew stronger. They had two children, a son and a daughter, and they lived happily ever after. So friends, the biggest reward of your hard work is the happiness you get. Don't forget it. Believe in yourself and work hard to achieve your goals, and one day you will achieve them. Stay tuned for the next story. Like this video, share this video with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. See you in the next video.